The legal system is starting to see the effects of a bail bond reform signed into law last year. Our Chris English has more on how the reforms are affecting everyone from the accused and their attorneys to individual bail bond companies.
Lawmakers passed bond reform in 2023. It came after pressure from prosecutors and law enforcement who argued that a new law was needed to cut down on crimes that were being committed by suspects who were out on bond. The new law is having a far-reaching impact. Anna White from ABC Bonding describes how bonds typically work.
In the state of South Carolina, there's 3 different types of bonds. There's a PR bond, which is a personal recognizance bond, which means there's no payment up front. There's a cash bond, meaning you have to pay the full amount of that bond to the court. And then there's a surety bond where you go through either a surety company that is going through the insurance company, or you go through a professional bonding company, which is what we are here at ABC Bonding.
But under new bond rules now taking effect, bail bonds could become nearly impossible to acquire for those who are out on bond and commit another violent crime or a crime with a firearm.
If he gets rearrested, if he wants to bond out on that second charge, he has got to pay a 100% cash bond to the court. He can't go through a bonding company.
Rhodes Bailey is a defense attorney who has studied the new reforms and educates other attorneys on the changes to the bond statute, including an additional felony added to the list of a suspect's charges.
Under the new bond laws, they've actually created a brand new sort of bonus crime if you've committed a crime while you're on bond for something else.
Another new portion of the law says a repeat violent offender cannot get credit for time served. Bailey says not everyone will be affected equally under the new bond laws.
There will be certain groups that feel the impact of these bond changes more, and they will be lower income folks. And in South Carolina, it will be predominantly non-white citizens. A lot of that goes back to the fact that so much of our economic disparities do fall along racial lines.
Additionally, the reforms mandate that bond companies collect at least 10% of a bond up front. White says all the new rules have slowed her business down.
I would say instead of doing 15 bonds a week, we're doing maybe about 10, or 5.
White says the mandatory cash bonds also have a negative effect on younger offenders who don't typically have the resources to afford to pay a bond in full. She worries that this will only serve to exacerbate the already overcrowded conditions at jails like Alvin S. Glenn in Richland County. In studio, I'm Chris English, News 19 WLTX.
All right, Chris, thank you. The Department of Insurance plans to provide additional clarity to bail bond companies from across the state at a meeting scheduled for sometime next month.